Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video. In this video we're going to be taking a first look at Tiffany, who is a brand new S-Class character coming to the game. This is what she looks like as a 5-star ascendable, this is what she looks like as a 6-star, and this is of course what she will look like as an S-Class as well. As the visuals do not change between 6 stars and S-Class characters. In terms of what she's wearing, she looks like she's wearing like a lab coat. I guess she was a doctor by the looks of what she's wearing, but she's sort of got safari gear on and a doctor's jacket. Interesting. She has got an attached weapon as well. It looks like a harpoon. We'll get onto that a little later. We'll check out her stats. She's got 4,156 attack, 4,330 defense, and 3,787 HP. This is with the 30 veteran rings. Her trait is tough, and her role is tank. So for a tank, she's got fairly balanced stats. She's got quite high attack stat here, so maybe not the greatest in terms of the attack stat, but she does have an offensive rush, which we're going to take a look at. It's called Shelter from Harm. It has a recharge rate of 76, deal 450% damage to a line of enemies. Those enemies get taunted for 3 turns. This character gets 30% defense for 3 turns. So obviously kind of like characters we've seen in the past, where this is a lock, because she can lock those characters in for 3 turns, and then she's going to get her rush by the time that runs out. She's also going to get AP with all of those taunted attacks. We do not need really 3-turn taunts or 3-turn confuses or 3-turn anything, to be honest, especially on a 76 AP cost rush, because you're going to be able to rush again before the person's going to be able to recover from it. So it's going to be heavily reliant on resists or heavily reliant on cleanses, and I think there needs to be at least a 1-turn window for a defense to be able to gain AP, to be able to rush, to be able to do something. I guess they could do actives in this time. I mean, well, actually they're taunted, so no, they can't. They literally cannot do anything if they get taunted. And like I said, they're going to be locked in, which is a shame. This character gets 30% defense for 3 turns. Is pretty strange, like a self buff that's so low. I would say self buffs generally could probably be put up a little bit higher, but I guess it's nice. It does make her more tanky, but it's nothing really to speak of. The taunt is probably the most tanky part of it. She will of course get 45 AP just from those 3 attacks over the 3 turns. So she can do her actives in between this. So we'll check out what her active is, and she could do this between her 2 rushes on an attack team, on defense team, and we'll see how useful this is going to be. Her active is Elusive and Recover Stun. Turn 1 active. Cooldown 3 turns, up to 2 other teammates get elusive for 2 turns, up to 3 teammates recover from stun. So obviously this is going to happen turn 1 regardless on a defense team. I think this is basically trying to counter Mercer, where, you know, Mercer can obviously stun your team and she can recover 3 people on that first turn, and basically hard countering Mercer as a defensive leader, as an offensive leader as well, to be honest. If she doesn't get stunned, if she has that really high resist on your defense team, you know, she's got that 85% if you do have a maxed out plat, fortunately, or a maxed out gold with 75%, and you take on your attack team. If any of your characters get stunned and she's still there, you could just say, hey, I'm going to give them elusive, I'm going to recover stun, and happy days. She doesn't really need to rush too often. Once she does rush, she's pretty much gone. She's like getting going. Like, you could have a command to get her to rush a turn early. She's going to lose a turn because of this active if you do need to do it. It has heavy usage though. Number of uses 10, and that can generally be a bad thing on a defense team. She'll just pop this off for like no reason. Elusive is nice, but you can get around it a lot. On defense teams, you can just see who's got elusive, decide not to attack them, control them with actives, that sort of thing. But definitely from the active skill, it looks like she's here to counter Mercer, kind of like Mercer's there to counter bleed teams because he's got 4 bleed cleanse on his active. You know, characters are going to be in the game to counter other characters. That's just how it works. Now if we look at her specialist skill, she has got Vitality, which is quite an annoying specialist skill. If you remember back to the 6-star era with like Mercer having Vitality, it could be pretty difficult to take him down. She is a tank character. She has got pretty decent defensive stats off the bat. You know, it's not going to be too easy to take her out, but the Vitality is going to make it harder. She's going to be getting quite a lot of AP because of those taunted attacks, so she's always going to get a bit more AP every time, and it's based on the amount of AP she has. So if she has topped out AP or like 60, 70, she's going to get a big heal. It's based on the amount of HP she has as well, so it's percentage based. You're going to see people who get Tiffany racking up that HP, you know, to the 6, 7, 8k sort of standard. Now she has got an attached weapon and it is pretty nice. It is the spear gun. I did think it was a harpoon, but it's a spear gun. Tiffany's blocking spear gun, 30% defense as base stat, that's pretty nice. 15% HP, absolute defense when being attacked, a better chance to reduce the damage to 0. So obviously absolute defense here is off trait, is very powerful, but because she's got taunt, you'd probably be very happy with having like Elusive impair on her, because those characters would get impaired when they attack her, and that's just like double controlling a character. You know, if you impair them on the 3rd turn of their taunt, when it's just about to wear off, they're now impaired for 3 turns. So absolute defense is nice because they won't gain AP if it procs, but impair would probably be better, if I'm honest, in this situation. But definitely wouldn't say no. Absolute defense is very useful. You know, someone who's got an off trait special who is tough is Tobin. He has absolute defense. Was very frustrating to deal with in the 6-star area. This is going to be the same sort of thing, and this is a character that can just fully control your team if you're not careful. So disarm here is going to be very important, and it's quite hard to run disarms at the moment just because there aren't any in the S-Class hero just yet, and they're basically taking up a team slot. You're running out of people you've got to take. You've got to take people who can recover things, who can control things, who can do damage, who's a leader, you know. You have to sacrifice something, and sometimes it looks like, at least, disarm seems to be one of the things that a lot of people are sacrificing, just because generally speaking people do have a window, but this will block rushes as well from certain characters like Priya, who a lot of people are relying on at the moment. Now when it comes to the 30% defense, this is questionable a little bit, because it would have been maybe better that she had HP, just because she does have vitality as her base specialist skill, so it would have improved her specialist skill output. But it's still a defensive stat. You're going to just have to massively boost her HP elsewhere. You're going to have to do it via combat mods. You may even want to replace this with the 30% HP instead of having defense. You may actually want to go with no AP. You may want to try and take that risk. I don't think that's probably a good idea, but you might want to try and do that. But I think boosting her HP is going to be very important. So if you can get, let's say, a platinum HP mod on a HP set, that's going to give you an extra 2000 HP if you get some good rolls and have a good set bonus. So overall, I think Tiffany is a pretty decent tank. She's not like next level. She's not the quality of, let's say, Princess in her terms of how Princess's kit worked, but I like how her kit does work. She is seemingly just here to combat the likes of Mercer with that active skill. The taunt is very nice, but I think it's a little bit too powerful. I would like to see less of these 3-turn taunts, especially taunt, because taunt gives you AP when you attack. So if it was a 2-turn, she'd still get her rush on the 3rd turn, because she would be getting 30 AP just from the taunted attack. She'd gain a little bit more AP as well from the damage she takes. I think it's a minimum of 1 AP for every single hit you get, just based on the little bit of damage you take. Even if you get absolute defend procs in there with her weapon, you still gain 1 AP as a character getting hit. Same goes for if they've got a Guardian Shield on them, still gain 1 AP. So yeah, I think the 3-turn is a bit overkill. Definitely makes her a stronger character though. One thing I will mention as well is this is another S-Class character coming out, and I think this is the very first time we've ever had S-Class characters being released within a week of each other. So we haven't had a 5-star character released for a very long time now. I think it's like been 4 weeks since the last actual new release of a 5-star character. We've had comebacks of 5-star characters with Red Velvet Cakes, may they rest in peace, but this is the first time we've ever had 2 weeks in a row where we've had an S-Class character. We have Davy last week, now we've got Tiffany. So it looks like S-Class characters are going to now become a weekly thing, and I thought personally that every 2 weeks was actually good in terms of not pushing it too much. The character was still available to pull for because it is a 2-week wheel. The same goes for Tiffany. Now it's still a 2-week wheel, but it does look like they're going to move to weekly releases of S-Class characters. Like I've said in previous videos, it would be nice to have some communication on this, that they're planning to make it a weekly release now. Being very transparent is a very good thing for your user base. It installs confidence in your game, because at the moment without communication, people don't know who's in the driver's seat, we don't know what's going on, and yeah, this is just one of the many things that are adding to the issues right now that have happened in the last week or two. It's been very quick, a lot of things in one go. But from my eyes, I'm gonna say it's probably an S-class character every week from here. I don't see them changing it up. If they're gonna start now, they're gonna probably just release an S-class character next week, and then the week after, so on and so forth. But other than that, guys, I think Tiffany is strong, and if you're having trouble with Mercer teams, she'll definitely be useful for you. If you want to pull her as a straight up S-class, this is the only time you're going to be able to do it as well, because we have seen Mercer come back on the wheel in his, second go around, and his S-class is not available. So if you do want to try and pull her straight as an S-class, now would be the time to try. Even on a one pull, whatever you want to pull. Generally, I would say doing one pulls is not a good idea though. Do tell me what you think about Tiffany here. Do tell me what you think about now seemingly S-class characters being a weekly thing that we're going to have to deal with. That is it in my video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.